Well, greetings and welcome, folks, to Living Well Community, your home for interactive and on-demand wellness programming brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. Now, I'm John Roberts, and this is Mind the Moment in Everyday Life. Every week, we take viewer questions and we talk about how we can make the most out of every moment of our lives with the help of mindfulness practice. And I'm joined, as always, by a woman so mindful. Wild squirrels, let her pet them on the head. Jessica Morey. Hi, Jess. How you doing today?
John, I'm doing great today. How are you?
Ah, not bad. Not bad at all. Before we get into our main topic today, Jess, let's get to part one, icebreakers. I'm wondering if you can give me an example of a technology that people our age used to use a ton, when we were young, and that maybe it really meant a lot to you at the time, but which has basically disappeared and which our children may never experience in the same way that we did.
Dude, John, what a great question.
I'm full of them.
Yeah, you you are. The first thing that comes to my mind, first I thought about a Walkman,
Ah,
but remember the Walkman? So
oh
like that
yes.
genre. So the Walkman, and then like when it came from a cassette into a CD,
Yeah. Yeah.
Walkman was challenging because sometimes it would like if you bounced too much with it, it would come off. But then I thought, well, what about the iPod? Remember the
Mm,
iPod?
yeah.
Where like the precursor to the iPhone.
I saved my first iPod. I still have one of the ones. It's like, it weighs about 10 pounds, it's like
Yeah,
a brick. I don't save a lot of like old technology around my house, but I couldn't get rid of it. Felt very meaningful to me.
that will probably be, I wonder if at some point that will be worth a lot of money for you, John.
Well, I think it's probably going in like the MFA like design section at some point. But so I'd like to be a little bit free with my use of the term technology here and say that something I did all the time when I was a kid, which I barely do today at all, is write words with a pencil or pen on a piece of paper with my hand. Folks, see, this is all for show, by the way. I'm not actually writing anything. But I had no idea how infrequently I do this until I sat down to write a birthday card for my wife the other day. And I realized that my hand was literally tired afterwards. And it wasn't like, this was some epic romantic screed, right? It was, a few sweet sentiments on one side of a birthday card. But afterwards, I felt like I had to soak my hand in warm water like Glenn Gould. Do you find yourself, do you write? Do you write on paper?
I do actually. This is not for here's like my little notes. I'll
Hmm.
put when I give a Dharma talk or something, I often will write on paper my thoughts initially. Yeah, yeah,
Do you find it helps you think through in a more in a deeper or somehow more embodied way?
yeah. Like more spontaneous and kind of emergent than typing. Yeah, I like it. And then I've gone through periods where I do like these morning pages where you journal. So it's
Mm.
you're writing 3 pages of just free association writing every morning. I've done that a lot. So, but my hand usually gets tired after 3 pages. Yeah.
Aaron is calling out the Discman. Yes, that and the tape recorder with the rewinding tapes. Or what about the VHS? The rewinding machines that you might have. Just the idea, just rewinding itself. But
A thing that we used to have to do.
yeah,
Look, Anita, you also journal every day. Awesome. Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I think some people are starting to journal on their computers, but I'm still like into the physicality with your hands of journaling. Yeah.
just where do you fall in the learning cursive versus not learning cursive debate? Do you want your child to learn cursive?
I didn't even, I've
Here,
never,
here, let me pause and say, I wonder if there's anyone on the session today who doesn't even know what I'm talking about when I say the word cursive.
yeah. Okay. So is there anyone who doesn't know a cursive?
So I can write my name
That
in
is a
cursive.
thought. I've never put my mind to that question yet, John. And I don't think I really have an opinion. I don't really, it's like if they're teaching it, he can learn it. If they're not, that's okay.
Yeah, it's the things that are going to be new, the things that we're losing that our kids aren't going to learn, and the things that they're going to experience that we never experienced. Wow, Jess, that's a great segue to what we're talking about today. So part two is usually viewer questions, but not today, because today is the first in what is destined to be a recurring series, which in my head I have been referring to as AI versus Jessica Morey. in which we ask what is fast becoming not at all a frivolous question, namely, can AI be as good a mindfulness teacher as a real life, flesh and bone, blood and wounds human, like Jessica Morey? And here's how we're going to test this. We're going to test it like this. I'm going to be providing the questions today. These common questions a mindfulness teacher might receive from a student, and then we're going to live input the same question to Chat GPT, and we're going to discuss who had the better answer. Maybe we can do some voting, and what this means for mindfulness, what it means for the world, and if it goes badly, this will be
For
the
my future
for
career.
your future, yes, for all of our future. And depending on how it goes, this may be the last edition of AI versus Jessica Morey. Jess, are you ready? Anything you want to say to contextualize this experiment?
Yeah, I do. I do actually. There is one thing I want to contextualize, which is if this was real, well, it is real. We're real. But if it was someone,
What is reality, Jess?
we're not AI generated yet. Okay, so say it was live, and it is also somewhat live, but I could see people and someone was asking a question, like say on retreat or when I'm teaching a class in person, someone asks a question. A whole aspect of the answering of said question is me kind of tuning into the person and getting curious about like, I wonder why they're asking this question. What might be behind this question for them? I might ask a little bit of a clarifying question, like, what's important to you about that or something. So I just want to say that there's like a human embodied relational aspect to answering meditation questions that really matters to me also. So that's just a context. We're disembodied in this context for right now, but
that is, I almost feel like you're jumping to the end though, just because I feel like these are the issues of like, okay, is there anything that a machine could just inherently not do? And that is a good question, although one might have to ask if the machine had access to your camera, could it somehow read, or your biomarkers? Could it be like reading your temperature? And it's these sorts of things. But okay, let's not get too far into the weeds. All right, Jess, question number one. How much should I meditate?
Oh, how much should you meditate? Well, John, I'm going to give a simple answer. Just one way of answering that is try to do it every day, just every day. Like developing that habit that just gets built into your day and your structure is going to be the most useful way to keep doing it and to get some benefits in that day and day after day. So it really is like getting your steps in or doing exercise on a regular basis, like that kind of, it is a kind of mental heart training. So every day, but it can be 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a lot of time. And then in an ideal world, you could even spread it out like a couple minutes here and there throughout your day, just to like bring yourself back to mindfulness, bring yourself back to presence and what most matters to you. So that's my advice. And then I'll put another like plug in. If you can do periods of long practice, like going on a retreat or a day-long retreat, there is research that shows that doing a bunch of practice like a retreat can have specific kinds of benefits of insight and kind of seeing more clearly, more concentration. So
That was
a little bit of a day and then like a deep dive every once in a while.
That was very good, Jess. That was good. And I have some guesses. One is I feel like you mentioned research. Research shows. I feel like what we're gonna get from ChatGPT here is mainly research, is my guess. Like here's what the research tells me. But one thing, here's my other guess, is that you had some very poetical ways of speaking. You said to get the benefits in that day and day after day. And I'm going to guess that we're not going to get anything with a kind of alliteration or kind of a rhythmic quality with ChatGPT. But there's only one way to find out. All right, so let's we're gonna see if I have this all set up correctly. All right, is that good? There we go. All right, so
you can see it. Here we go.
What everyone loves is watching somebody type. So let's see, how much should I meditate? Is that what I did? What I said? How much should I meditate? How much should I meditate? ChatGPT. All right, here we go. Here we go. I was thinking, okay. All right, so the amount of meditation you should do, interesting, it's qualifying should, depends on your goals lifestyle and experience level. Here's a general guide. Okay, so now it's breaking this down. It's almost like a BuzzFeed article here. If you're just starting out, 5 to 10 minutes per day is enough to begin experiencing benefits like reduced stress and improved focus. Consistency, more important than length. Short daily practice is better than a long weekly one. If you're building a habit, 10 to 20 minutes per day can deepen your mindfulness and help solidify the routine. Try meditating at the same time, for example, waking up or after waking up or before bed. If you're seeking deeper benefits, 20 to 45 minutes per day can lead to significant improvements in emotional regulation, anxiety reduction, and self-awareness. This range is often used in clinical studies, advanced practitioners, okay, et cetera, as you can see here. I'll leave this up.
But here, what's the end here?
Okay. Other factors to consider. Okay, yeah. So this, in a lot of ways, this is not that different. And in a way, so I'm of two minds here, Jess, because on the one hand, of course, I'm rooting for you here. I'm like, oh, Jess can do things that this machine can't do. On the other hand, I'm also happy that it's not giving, really terrible advice. But unless you think it is, so maybe I should ask you that. What do you think? How do you think it's doing?
Right. I mean, I think if I was gonna go, and he mentions retreat, so every day, I guess it's they. That's good. So the one thought that I'm having also as I'm reading this is the value of the quality of your meditation also. Just to really remind people, it's not just about the quantity, like the amount of time you're sitting there. And actually, a couple of my teachers have really emphasized this in particular. Like one of my meditation teachers, Dan Brown, was just so adamant about like, what is happening in your mind while you're doing your meditation? And do you know what you're doing and why you're doing it? So you could just sit down for 45 minutes and like daydream, and that's not going to be getting you the benefits. I mean, you might feel a little bit more peaceful and stuff, but it's not getting you the benefits of a clearly focused practice where you're cultivating whatever it is that, we'll talk, we can talk about different kinds of meditation. But anyway, that's just the one thing that I would highlight there too, is it's not just about the amount of time, it's about knowing what you're doing and the quality of your attention and focus and capacity while you're practicing.
So maybe what I'm hearing you say is that maybe the machine was a little bit too literal. It was answering the question, but it was maybe not answering the question behind the question. And that could be because you've had experience with enough students that maybe you can intuit what the question behind the question is in a way that
right. And let's not get caught up in like those kinds of numbers. Let's get caught up in like the deeper purpose of why we're doing the meditation itself, rather than like just like checking it off your to-do list. I sat there for 30 minutes, yeah.
Okay, Jess, I'm going to leapfrog over my second question because I want to get to a slightly meatier one, and I also want to have time for us to meditate together. So, okay, I'm just going to skip ahead to, will meditating make me happy?
Will meditating make me happy? We got to think about this in like time ranges, increments of time. So, and again, it depends on the quality of your meditation, what kind of meditation you're doing, okay? Because in any given meditation period, you might actually get quiet enough to see things happening in your emotional world, in your mind, that are not happy. That like, so that you're in the meditation and you're like, oh no, now I'm actually stressed or I'm actually distracted. But that's because you were already, but you weren't paying attention. You were scrolling on your phone or listening to your Walkman to distract, right? But now you're meditating and seeing what's actually happening. So that might not feel happy when you do it. So that's kind of that piece. But on a long term, yes. But it also matters how we are defining happiness, right? It's not like you can use the word hedonistic happiness, which is just like a pleasure, like feeling a kind of pleasure. It's more the happiness, like, I don't know if you're a runner, or it's like the happiness of having a kid, right? Any given day, it's not like, yay. But those some days it is that way. But there's just like a deep satisfaction. And for many folks who, when you have kids, it has that like longer term, the happiness is like a peacefulness. It's having a deeper understanding and capacity to manage your own mind and emotions. That is like a deeper, more grounded kind of happiness, a contentment. And that will evolve over time, even though any given day it might not feel that way.
It may be a happiness that you don't even understand is possible until you start meditating, perhaps.
Amen. Absolutely.
All right. Let's see what the robots say. All right. Uh okay, we're back, and I think I just gotta refresh the page here. Okay. Will meditating make me I'm gonna we've corrected my word. Okay, will make me happy. Will meditating make me happy? Okay. All right. Uh-oh. Oh dear. Okay, hang
Yeah.
on. We're gonna see behind. Oh no. Didn't know I had to log in. But let's see if we can sort of read between the lines, as they say here. Okay. Okay, so meditating can, here's what I'm saying. Meditating can make you happy, reduce stress, improve self-awareness, increase emotional
Oh,
probably
wait. Jenna
resiliency.
says you can say stay logged out and still use it.
Oh my goodness. Wow. We have the smartest viewers. They're the people who have just ever used ChatGPT before, which is not me. Okay. Very good. Here's the catch. Isn't always pleasant, especially at first. Can bring up uncomfortable thoughts or emotions. If you're expecting it to make you happy instantly, you might get frustrated. It works best consistently over time, like a habit or mental hygiene. Think of it this way: meditation won't give you happiness, but it can clear out some of what blocks it. It's a tool
Mhm.
for understanding yourself and becoming more at peace. And from that peace, happiness can grow. It's part, because the machine here is monitoring the internet. What are the chances that it's actually picking this up live from you? Is that maybe in the
No,
future?
but that's, yeah,
Well,
it's not
so
horrible.
give me your thoughts on the think of it this way here,
Mhm.
because I feel like this is the sort of the turn has a little more of a philosophical edge to it, like the clear out some of what blocks it. Do you think that's good terminology here,
Hmm.
or would it be confused? I guess
Yeah,
the question is, do you think it would
yeah,
be confusing
yeah,
for people?
yeah.
Or,
No, no,
okay,
no. I think that's a good way that you could say that. You could say that. It doesn't give you happiness, but it clears out some of, yeah, because like what you would say, I mean, in a Buddhist framework, you're removing what are considered like the blocks or obstacles, like the hindrances. They're called the hindrances of mind, which cause our suffering, including especially like a kind of delusion or ignorance gets removed. And that the underlying substrate of awareness is a kind of deeply peaceful, loving awareness. So that could fit within that framework.
Jess, you do a lot of co-teaching with other meditation teachers and retreats and the like. Can you ever see yourself co-teaching with ChatGPT?
Oh my goodness. Uh,
Should we
yeah.
just put the
Well,
registration form up right now for folks to register for that retreat?
oh my goodness. There is a crew called like what are they? Dharma Geeks, I think. And
Yes, is that it? Yeah, sounds right.
yeah, I could imagine them doing that retreat.
I have some clarifying and summarizing questions I can't wait to get to, but let's step back a moment. Let's get and I'm not going to suggest something which did cross my mind, which is that we'd have ChatGPT create a meditation script for you.
Well,
I
it
think
did
that,
offer. It did
and
offer one. Yeah, that was its last thing. Would you like me to make a meditation for you?
next time, maybe next time.
Okay, yeah, next time.
Okay, all right. I want the real article here. What do you think? Regimented, do a little meditation.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Okay. Let's do it. Um, okay. What I want to say too for folks who are alive in the future is like, you can always come in and give me a little suggestion for what kind of meditation would be helpful for you to guide in any given day. But I think what I'll do today is just a very short and simple settling practice. Okay, where we feel our body, can feel the body, watch the breath, and get that sense of like practicing well with a focused attention. You can even take some breaks in the middle of a 5-minute one so that you're really getting good quality meditation. So let's come into a good enough meditation posture, which could just be sitting wherever you are, could be standing, or be walking or lying down. And just taking a few deeper breaths. And as you're breathing, let the feeling of your breath draw your attention out of your thinking mind and just into the body. Just the sensate, present moment experience of having a body that ChatGPT does not have. So really feel. feel what it's like to be an embodied being. On your inhales, you can feel through your body. And if you notice any tension or tightness, on your exhale, you can just invite that to soften. You might feel it like a kind of melting, just a little melting of holding your tension. And if you do feel any softening of that tension or ease in your body, take some moments to let your attention linger there and just enjoy that simple experience of relaxing a little bit, of softening. Okay, and so then we'll practice with anchoring our attention. Or sometimes I think of it as a home base for your attention. And that could just be feeling your whole body sitting. Could be feeling a particular part of your body. And you're looking for a place where the attention can kind of rest. It feels neutral or slightly pleasant. And that could also be just feeling the sensations of breathing. And then anytime that your mind wanders off and you notice that, just tell yourself, oh, okay, just take a little break. Take a little break. Soften your body. And then let the attention just softly re-land on the present moment. Anchor, body or breath. And just for the last few moments of the practice, just one more time, settling, easing your body and mind, letting go of any effort, letting yourself enjoy anything that feels good or any benefits from just the simple practice of coming back to present moment. All right. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and just come back into our virtual meditation hall here.
All right, so just a couple of pieces of housekeeping here. If folks are interested in viewing this session again, it will be up on our YouTube page and our podcast feed later this week. And if you have a question for us for a future episode, please do email us at askmtm@point32health.org. And I just wanted to reiterate something that you said, Jess. If folks have ideas for meditations they would like to have you do, please also email those to us. The links are in the chat, or if you are watching this as a recording, then they are in the show notes. Jess. So, okay. Back to AI. Are there ways in which you can? We were joking about you co-teaching a retreat with AI. But I'm wondering, are there ways that you could see yourself using AI in your role as a mindfulness teacher? What I mean by that is that we often hear people saying, the defenders of AI mostly, that okay, AI is just it's going to take on all the work that we don't want to do anyway. That's what it's going to do. And I'm wondering if that argument makes any sense for you as a mindfulness teacher. Like, is there a layer of work, a superfluous layer of work that you can imagine AI handling for you, where you'd be like, oh yes, please take this off my plate. I don't want to be doing that part of mindfulness teaching anyway.
Yeah, actually, for me, it's more in like the Buddhist context. So it's like when I'm on a retreat in a Buddhist context and teaching, like I often want to find particular scriptures, texts, like the suttas that reference a particular teaching, or like how is this word translated in different translations, or where is it found and what's the context. So those kinds of like research based, I actually do use a lot for my talks, like looking up research on the Pali Canon and suttas. And so that's useful. And then sometimes also I'll use it like to find, if I have in my head, I know like a particular teaching or teacher, ChatGPT can usually more quickly get me what I want than Google.
That's interesting. Yeah, yeah. And for folks who don't know the Buddhist scriptures or sutras, I've been told they're about 10 times as long as the Bible. So it is, if it is, if you don't know exactly what you're looking for,
Yeah.
it probably can be very useful to
Mhm.
have the help of the software. Okay, so let me pitch another one at you, because we've mentioned embodiment a couple of times, and so I think this is worth just giving a little bit of thought to. So when I think about the people who seem to be enamored of AI, I sometimes wonder if what they're actually enamored of is the disembodied nature of AI, because
Hmm.
there's if you can try and make the argument about can a machine be conscious, in the same way that humans conscious. I feel you can easily go into a very rabbit holey 3 a.m. what is reality stoner talk doing that. But I would venture to say, and I'm up for the debate, but I would venture to say that human consciousness has an embodied quality that is distinct from machine consciousness, such as it is. Although I could be wrong about that. But do you have any thoughts on like the role of embodiment in mindfulness practice, and whether the celebration of embodiment or examining embodiment might help mitigate some of the more disruptive influences of AI? It might kind of bring us back to ourselves and thinking about centering human needs, if we should be centering human needs.
Yeah, or maybe not even just centering human needs, but like celebrating, enjoying, and benefiting from like what it means to be a human, which definitely is a physical form, embodied nervous system that also has a thinking mind. And again, I don't know, I'm not an AI expert at all, but it feels like it's kind of like just the mind, but like a bunch of minds all put together. Uh, and so the other thing is like if you meditate a lot, you can start to lose, you can see that there's problems with the mind and thinking. That's just one way of knowing, and it's not always that helpful. So, like it actually, meditation can help you value and respect having a body. And the other aspect of it is the true relationality, like other beings with bodies that have nervous systems and emotions and energetic felt sense interactions that AI can't do. So yeah, it could help us like just orient ourselves back to those pieces which make us human.
So meditating is going to help us realize that maybe a giant supermind is not actually the thing that we should be going for. What about a giant super body? I guess that
Uh
would be the Earth.
yes, good, which is great. A super body. I'm down with that. But right, if you go on a retreat or you meditate at all, like just take a moment and be like, do I want this like in charge of everything?
And finally, Jess, what is the theme song for your mindfulness practice this week?
It is Little Plastic Castle by Ani DeFranco.
Oh, all right. Just in honor of the noble battle you did with the robots on behalf of all humans everywhere today, I'm going to recommend "All We Have Is Now" by the Flaming Lips from their record Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots. Now, remember to check out our ever-growing list of or our ever-growing Mind the Moment in Everyday Life Spotify Dance Party playlist. Link is in the chat or in the show notes below. Meanwhile, we'll be back every Tuesday here with Jess. This session, like all of our Living Well community sessions, are free, open to everyone, so you can bring your community while you build your community. Tell others, please, and join us again as often as you would like. Jess, thank you again.
Thank you so much, John.
Doing
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jenna, and everyone who participated.